You know, while Octopath Traveler was being announced and more of the gameplay was being revealed, it started to sound vaguely familiar. Then they talked about how the stories of all 8 of the characters will intertwine and form one overarching plot, and that's when I realized, isn't this just Secret of Mana 2? Yeah, this might be a bit of an obscure one, but back in 1995, Square developed Seiken Densetsu 3, god damn I fought through saying that, which was supposed to come out in the West as just Secret of Mana 2. Now, for those of you who don't know, Secret of Mana is considered one of the greatest RPGs ever made, right up there with Final Fantasy VI. With such high praise and high sales, Square rightfully made a sequel, of which was never released outside of Japan. Which sucks because Seiken Densetsu was definitely my favorite Super Nintendo game of all time. As mentioned before, the game has some similarities to Octopath Traveler. You start the game out by choosing 3 characters out of 6, the first being the main character and the one with the most important arc. Each character's story eventually intertwine and blend together into one overarching plot. Sound familiar? Yeah, well, in my opinion, this game does the whole intertwining plot thing way better. Way better. Surprising, as this is a game that came out fucking 23 years ago. But to be fair, Octopath Traveler has a much bigger budget and fully voiced dialogue, so I probably shouldn't be expecting much in terms of diverging plots. So this game is pretty stellar, both gameplay wise and graphically. In every way, the game is far superior to Secret of Mana, so what gives? Why didn't Square budge and release this to everyone outside of Japan? Well, 2 things. Number 1, y'all might be wondering why the second game never came out, that being Seiken Densetsu 2. The thing is, Seiken Densetsu 2 is Secret of Mana 1, so there's that out of the way. And number 2, some of you might already be thinking that it was the fault of Secret of Evermore, which was a game developed by Squaresoft, the American gun-toting, hot-dog-eating counterpart to Square. And just like the company, the game was super American and filled with pop culture and references and all sorts of dumb American bullshit. This game has a lot of people frustrated, despite it being a critically acclaimed game. And this is due to the fact that it has this reputation of being that one Americanized Secret of Mana game in place of the real Secret of Mana sequel. I mean, keep in mind, a ton of Japanese devs thought that Americans were too stupid for RPGs, so that's definitely a possibility. But it just isn't true. There's also some theories that the translation team was being used for Secret of Evermore, which again was false. The fact of the matter is, the team assembled was hired specifically for Secret of Evermore. They were told to make a game and they made it. The reason it resembles and borrows a ton of mechanics from Secret of Mana was simply because those mechanics worked and they just wanted to use it for Secret of Evermore. So the real reason for Secret of Mana 2 never being released was just a technical one. If Square was going to release this game in America, they needed to fix up a couple of technical issues, including some bugs that were apparently pretty bad. So bad that they feared Nintendo of America wouldn't publish their game because it didn't meet up to their standards. Adding to the technical side of things, the cost of translating into different languages, and the fact that Square wanted to focus on making games than translating old projects, it all culminated to the game never seeing the light of day outside of Japan. Though, like Mother 3, there is a fan translation ROM floating around. It was incredibly well done and was considered to be one of the most sophisticated hacks of the time. I mean, it was the year 2000 and ROMs were incredibly popular at that point, so the translations was one of the earliest examples of ROM hacking, as well as a great fan translation that wasn't totally bullshit and terrible like those VHS anime tapes you'd get from that weird ass dollar store. So if you're curious about the game, go ahead and check out the game's translated ROM. Or if you personally hated Octopath Traveler and you're looking for a better alternative, trust me, Secret of Mana 2 is fucking lit shit, my dudes. God, I'm gay.